Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another pitch talk. I want to say episode 4, but I'm not sure anymore. So
Yes, for.
episode is it 4? Okay, so episode
Yeah.
4,
That's
with
fine.
a lot of things to talk about. I think the game just finished, some interesting things happening. Definitely at the Euros, but also just away from the Euros, just transfer talk and that stuff. But with me, as always, Steve. How are you doing on this fine evening for me, but stressful midday for you? I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Look, I enjoyed the first two games. Um, Although Poland, that's one of my other nations that I sadly have to support because I'm part Polish. That was, I mean, Austria played well and they got the deserved win. So, um, yeah. Then this game was like dreadful. I didn't enjoy the game really at all. So, but yeah, I'm pretty good, bro. I'm pretty good. I like watching football. Sometimes the games ain't great. It is what it is. For
Well,
you.
I watched an entire season of of Juve, so I can chip in and say hopefully it gets better. But let's start with Italy because that was um, that was impressive and shocking at the same time. I predicted 2-0. It could have been 6-0. Actually, it only was 1-0 with an own goal, but the game should have been, I don't know, 5-4. It was ridiculous. And after the Albania game, I said this was a poor performance, and people were coming for me. I said Albania are not good. They have no quality. You're just gonna keep the ball against them, no issue. Um, but I said moving forward, literally moving forward, they don't have enough. Even against Albania, I don't care. They hit the post. Fradesi hit the post. It was never real. Like I never got a feeling that attacking idea is gonna put top teams in trouble, and it didn't. It didn't at all. It was no shock at all that
Yeah.
they lose. People say Fajoli was injured. No, he was not. He was only injured for game one. He was back. That's that. Um, the decisions Spalletti made are for me they were kind of disrespectful, because you were going against a Spain team. You handed him the midfield, and you actually
Yeah.
not once tried to regain control of that midfield. At halftime, when he was pulling Jorginho, I was like, and Jorginho was poor, by the way. I was like, that's not the answer. You need to add somebody in midfield because you're not gonna like forget about moving forward. Just somehow,
Defend.
and somehow try to control the midfield in spurs of the game, basically, like in moments of the game, so you don't have the pressure on. Then he brings on Cristante, and I actually almost turned out the TV because that was ridiculous. I don't know why he's at the Euros. That's one.
That's humiliating. That's
That's one. I
humiliating.
don't know why he's at the Euros, but he is there, so fine. I don't know what the idea was to bring in Cristante. I don't know what effect he thought it was gonna make because he's not good in the ball. Like he came on for 10 seconds,
Oh,
picked up a yellow card. He's not a good on the ball. Technically, he's a poor player. He's not an intelligent player. Like it's not disrespecting him, but he's just a very poor player. I'm so
oh,
confused why Locatelli is at home. I don't get it. I think nobody gets it. I don't even think Cristante gets it, to be honest. If you ask him and you put him on a lie detector task, I think he's confused about it. But the moment he made that sub, I was like, he's lost. You lost that
yeah.
game completely. You don't even try to win that game again or like get back into the game, because it was 0-0 at the time, but you were just out of that game completely. So now he put himself in a very tough spot, because again, you can lose against Spain, they are the better side, period. But the way you lose, Croatia, they play better against Spain. They lost 3-0. They gave them a better go. They gave them
Sure.
a better go. It's not
Yes.
going to be easy on Monday, and the chances of actually getting knocked out of the group, in my opinion, are
It's
40,
a
sixty
possibility.
percent It's a high possibility. People are like, oh, but Croatia are not good. Italy is not good as well. I don't forget about the Albania game. Albania are poor. And yes, they played 2-2 against Croatia, but if anyone wants that Croatia game, Croatia should have won that game. They should have won that game. Over 90 minutes, they should have won. They didn't. That's their
Both
fault. I get
teams
it.
traded mistakes, and the other
Yeah,
team converted. That's what it was. It was a
But
good game though. It
it
was
was a good
entertaining.
game. It was a good game, but like the chances of them going out are are high in my opinion. They're 40-60. Like they're 40-60, especially with the Belgium group all on 3 points. That's not good. You know, if you want to, if you might finish third, that's not a good sign as well. Um,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be a long. I don't know what you made of that game, but like the subs were dreadful. Like don't and Di Lorenzo. Oh my god, like pull him. At one point, you were watching that. You were like, I need to get him off. Just help him by getting him off because he was getting cooked for 90 straight minutes. I've never seen anything like that before. Like
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
insane. That was insane. That was
so the first.
unbelievable.
So in the first half, it looked like you were down to 10 men because Di Lorenzo was essentially a mannequin. That Nico Williams was time and time and time and time and time again, just absolutely bro, he's retiring Di Lorenzo. He's retiring him. Like that was probably one of the worst right back performances I've seen in my life of watching football. And I watch football from everywhere, anywhere. I watch little Caribbean islands play Mexico. I watch Coupe de France games where 8th tier teams are playing against 2nd tier teams, and like that stood out to me of how bad that was. That stood out to me of how bad Nico Williams like just completely destroyed Di Lorenzo. I'm surprised he didn't get subbed off before halftime. Now the problem is that Spalletti then decided, okay, I'm gonna go down to 9 men. I'm gonna bring on Cristante. Then it got even worse. You were continuing your extremely poor performance, and Spain they just didn't finish their chances. But like, you had no control in that game. Spain were dictating where they were going to go with the ball. They were extremely direct. The new style that De La Fuente has them playing is really
It's very
effective.
direct.
They just need to, yeah, it's on Spain like, but they needed that kind of change, to be honest.
Yeah.
They did kind of need it because if they continue to play like this, nobody's stopping them. Germany might, but like if they keep playing like that and everyone performs like that and they have that bench, nobody's stopping them. Nobody's stopping them. So, and then yeah, you guys, it's just like it's a complete mess. I mean, I don't know why you can't just admit it that you need to go 3 at the back. Spalletti needs to just be like, you know what, we have to go 3 at the back because there is no way that you have a fullback in Di Marco and you have Bellanova. Di Lorenzo should not be playing no more. So how about you play Raul Bellanova, a natural wing back? You get Di Marco, your best wing back, and you can have 3 center backs. Then you have Calafiori, Bastoni. You could put a Darmian or someone in there. But no, he decides to bring on Cristante. Cristante is a Serie B player. And that's quite offensive to Serie B players. I think he's one of the most useless players in the world. We were talking about this last week with the squad selection.
Yeah.
If you're going to choose Cristante, why didn't you choose Bonaventura? Why didn't you choose Locatelli? Why didn't you even go with a Nicolo Ravella? Because he's a better player than Cristante. So, yeah, that was embarrassing. I thought it was going to be a draw just because I didn't know if Spain were going to replicate that performance. But, like, yeah, you guys were remarkably poor. And Spain, yeah, they should probably be beating Albania like 3-0.
Oh yeah, they're gonna beat him.
They'll play him off the park. I think with Spain, it's just a question of finishing their chances because they should have smoked you by like 5.
Yeah,
and that's being conservative. They could have scored like Donnarumma was your man of the match by a country mile. But nobody else out there really.
That's always a bad sign.
Even Chiesa.
Yeah, but even in the second half, like they didn't even get past midfield. Like people.
Yeah, 2 shots in the whole game or something.
Yeah, people look at Chiesa we didn't have the ball. Like you can have
Yeah.
Mbappe up there. You don't have you cannot keep control of possession. You can have whoever you want up top. It's just not gonna work. Like it's never gonna work. Like it's impossible to work. We don't have, and that's when you brought on Cristante. I was like, you gave up. Like you literally
You
gave
went
up.
down to 9 men. It looked like you were playing with 9 men.
I don't get that stuff. Like it was crystal clear. You needed to do something in midfield, but with something, you needed to add people. Like you needed to like pull Chiesa, whatever, pull Scamacca and just play on pace, or whatever. Try to get in behind. The one moment you catch Spain lacking, but you don't. Scamacca, I felt sorry for him. Yes, like he was doing.
He's on a
cardio.
desert island.
He was doing
He's on an
cardio.
island.
It was like watching Serbia, Vlahovic. He's just out there
Yes.
doing cardio. I'm like, don't play him. Like it's pointless. If you set up like that, do not play these players because it's pointless. You don't even get corners or something. You're like, okay, maybe towards the end, basically, but that's just like it's pointless, And now you're back against your walls against Croatia because they have nothing to lose. They need to win. Like they need to win. So they will go into the game with no fear because the fear is if we don't win, we're out. We just need to win. With Italy, it's like we cannot lose. That's the mindset going into the game. And from what I've seen over 2 games, they're not a good side. They're just not a good. Even against Albania, people were raving. I was like, that was not a good game. I'm sorry. Like that wasn't a good game. There were too many. How do you want to say that? Like worrying signs.
Mediocre performances.
Yeah, like it wasn't spectacular. You got back in it really quickly, but that was it. I don't care if you keep possession for 80 minutes.
Albania had chances as well.
Yeah, but like even the possession, I don't care. Like it's what you do with that possession, and going forward, it never looked scary. Like Fratesi,
convincing,
bench player for Inter, starting at the Euros. I cannot explain. Like nobody can explain that to me because he's not good. Especially not in that position. He's just not good. And I don't blame him, by the way. But when you leave a player like Orsolini at home, I don't get why the media is not questioning those decisions because that's. And I'm not even the biggest Orsolini fan, but after the season he had, surely he would have had a better impact on that game yesterday than, let's say, Fratesi. He would.
Yeah, Fratesi on the wing. What are we doing here?
He cannot dribble. He's not quick, and he doesn't execute quick enough as well. He takes way too many touches. He needs to. Like everything needs to be calm. Like everything needs to be kind of in slow motion for him. It feels like it's going too fast.
He's a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, he's for me. Like I've said it so many times. Like you can see the way he plays or try to play that he is a box-to-box. Yeah. When you stick him on the wing, it's
particularly likes to crash the box.
Yeah, it's pointless. Like it's absolutely pointless, and people smash the like button. But yeah, Fratesi is just not like he's not good on the ball. He's hectic. He's not composed. I'm like, that's pointless. That's really, really pointless to have these players on. He needs to switch it up against Croatia. He's not gonna do it. It's Spalletti. I saw the reports today saying Fagioli might start. I don't think so. Even though there were reports that he called out Jorginho, he's not gonna bench for. Like yesterday, I was like,
he won't bench Di Lorenzo, which is the horrifying thing.
Yeah, no, he won't. But yesterday at halftime, I was like, play Fagioli. Just put a player in who can keep hold of the ball and will be extremely calm. Just do it.
Yes.
Because you need somebody who can take the pace Spain was putting in that game out of the game. Somebody.
Yeah.
Jorginho was giving it away. Barella had a stinker. He wasn't good. And Pellegrini...
Barella was just getting man-marked.
Yeah. And Pellegrini
it was so
had no
because
impact.
all the 50-50s, it was no contest across the pitch.
Yeah. And Pellegrini had absolutely no impact whatsoever on that game as well. Completely looked off the mark again. And you bring in a player like Cristante, I was like, it's suicide. I felt for Cristante a little bit, but because I'm like, you're putting him out there to just absolutely fail and get roasted.
To drown.
Yeah. He was all over the place, like first 10 seconds, and he was like, what the hell would just happen?
Yeah.
When that happened, I was like, oh boy. I think even Spalletti was like, oh crap. That's ridiculous. Like that was a clumsy challenge as well. And people smash the like button. We
Oh
only
yeah,
have 10
he
likes.
got a yellow card a minute into this.
10 seconds.
Oh, 10, yeah, you're right. It was
It
like more.
was, oh my god, I wasn't even surprised. I was actually laughing. I was like, this was very
Yeah. No,
predictable.
I was too.
That's
Yeah.
very predictable. But again, the media not questioning it. After the game, I think somebody should have asked him, couldn't you not have used Locatelli today? Surely, like the selection, we knew it. Like even bringing in Cambiasso, which I thought is good because he brings up Fratesi as well. But when you had no control of that midfield, you cannot even push on with Cambiasso or Di Marco. It's getting really, really like against Spain against Albania. Di Marco was playing extremely high, but that's against Albania. Albania, excuse me, that was against Albania. You couldn't do that yesterday, for me, because you had no control of that midfield whatsoever. They were just bypassing that. Second balls, they're
And
winning
they didn't
it.
even use Lamine Yamal that much.
No, it was just Williams cooking Di Lorenzo. I think once they figured
Yeah,
out
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Di Lorenzo, they're like, yeah, just cook
They
him for 90
figured that
minutes.
out real quick. I
First
swear to
minute.
God, Nico Williams had like it felt like he had 100 touches of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel you're gonna cook somebody, you're like, yeah, just cook him. He takes him off. The next guy comes in and he cooks him again. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he's not gonna recover from that the next couple of days. Like oh, if he has a brilliant game against Croatia, I will respect that because man,
Yeah.
you need to do a 360 right now. After the game, Di
Oh, yeah.
Lorenzo needs to sit down and realize he got cooked by teenagers, and he needs to he needs to flip the switch.
He needs to forget it ever happened,
He
just
needs
like Scotland did. Just like Scotland
yeah,
did. They completely forgot about the Germany 5-1.
he needs to wake up today. He needs to wake up
Yeah.
today and act like that just never happened. Like because
Yeah.
if he's
Yeah.
gonna think about that, he's gonna get cooked by a player like Pekovic. Even he will because if that gets into your mind, it's done. I need to say Verratti and Tonali bailed on their country. Yeah, Verratti. I don't like Verratti. I thought he was retired. Like I'm not gonna lie, I forgot he was playing in
Yeah,
Qatar.
he's in Qatar. Yeah.
I forgot. I completely forgot. And no, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't. I wouldn't have called him up even. Like I get it. Tonali, yeah. Like that's his own fault, I guess. But in
He's screwed up.
general,
Yeah, he wasn't like, oh, I don't want to play for the Azzurri. I'm gonna go bet. No, it was the other way around. His actions of betting led to him getting banned from football. It's the other way around.
But
Yeah,
even with a
Tonali is
Tonali
a
in the
big.
team, it wouldn't have like the setup, the idea, yeah, like even like the bare minimum, yes, like just some old fashioned passion, or you know what I mean? Just
Some effort.
yeah, some
Yeah.
effort, some pride. Like there was nothing. Like it was not compact. People were roasting
Yeah.
Calafiori, who I thought had a good game actually. Like the own goal, it's yeah, like it's just it happens. Donnarumma flips it and you're done, But in general, I thought he had a good game. Bastoni, they did what they had to do, to their best abilities because they were just coming from everywhere. And Donnarumma, other than that, yeah, like you could have stopped them off, all of them basically. But it's gonna be interesting to see what he's gonna do against Croatia. Uh, you cannot go into the game playing for the 1-1 because you're just gonna lose. You're better than Croatia. You need to be better than Croatia. You just need to go there, take the game to them, and you will win. If you do that, you will beat Croatia. You will beat Croatia. But if you go out there with the mindset of, hey, a point is good enough, you're not gonna win that game. You won't win that game. You just need to go out there and do what you should be doing, basically. But we will see. We will see if that will happen. We just watched the France game. Juve fans, because they wanted to see if Rabiot was worth 8 million euros. I think the answer is, for me, it was no. But to be honest, I don't think he had a poor game, like for 90 minutes. But in front of goal, that was shambolic. That was really poor in front of goal from Rabiot. But in general, that game was first half. I was like, okay, that's a good pace. Chances, for the Netherlands, France, that second half was a snooze fest, actually. But the Griezmann chance,
Uh,
unbelievable. The disallowed goal, I don't agree with it because Magnon was never going to dive. He was never going to get it, but that's kind of what football is now.
oh yeah,
So
we got away with one, 100%.
they were always going to call it off. I don't agree with it, but that's basically the rule. But I think even Magnon was like, yeah, like whatever. But man, like you said in before we went live, it's a weird Euros because I think Germany are just clicking because they're playing at home. It's not that they are fantastic because they beat
Scotland and
um,
Hungary.
Hungary, but man, the way they beat Hungary, like 2-0, I get it, but it could have gone either way. Like that first goal, like whatever.
Yeah,
It's Spain is convincing because they are dominant. Like they can actually suffocate a team, the way they play. But other than that, you're right. It feels like it's up for grabs. It's basically up for
yes.
grabs because Portugal played that was unwatchable. England is has always been unwatchable. like,
Uh,
um, but yeah, man. What do you think?
Belgium are not.
Oh,
Belgium are
Belgium
not
was
serious at all.
the back line is
I think
poor.
Romania can get a result tomorrow.
I I think they will win. I think Belgium will win 2-0 or something. But I won't be shocked if Romania get a result because the back line is just not good. The Carrasco at like fullback
Carrasco at
Carrasco.
left back. That's another horrible decision.
That
That's on
was
par with Cristante as there's not yeah Cristante. So I looked on it on Transfermarkt because you could look at players' position throughout their whole career. Carrasco had never played as a left back in a back four in his whole career, and you decide
yeah
first day of the Euros,
back
I'm going to
four.
play a back four. The back four was horrific, by the way. Castagni is a good attacking fullback, but he should not be playing as a right back.
Yeah,
Wing back, fine, because he's not a good defender. Wout Faes is mistake prone. He's decent on the ball, but I don't.
no,
I
he's
used
not
to like
good.
him at Stade Reims. I used to like him at Stade Reims, but like ever since then, he hasn't progressed as a player at all. De Bast is okay. He's decent. He was the best out of the back four for sure. And then Carrasco left back is like
He's gonna
I
make
get
some
it. You're playing
changes.
Slovakia.
He's
I
gonna
get
make
it.
some
I get it.
changes.
You're playing Slovakia, but like that's
Yeah,
blatantly
but
disrespecting your opposition with that back four.
to be honest, if Lukaku just does his job, you win that game.
Yeah,
You win that
but
game. So
Lukaku's not a trustworthy figure,
he's
is he?
not. No, he's not. He's not. But that's why I think they will win against Romania because they did enough against Slovakia to win that game. It was just one of those days where you don't take your chances and they take their one chance or one of the two chances they
And also
created.
tactically, Slovakia, they were risky. They play a risky strategy, but it paid off as well. It was brave because they were pressing, especially in the first half. They were making that back four just pass around the ball. They refused to go long to Lukaku. They did it like maybe 3 or 4 times in the first half where they tried to go long, and Hanchko would come out of nowhere, boom, header, and then Slovakia would go the other way. Or Skriniar, who had a really good game,
He had a good game. Yeah.
or Pekarik. Like that back four for Slovakia, yeah, they did concede some chances, but overall with Slovakia, I think it's one of those where it's like Calzona's like, look, we have in a combined 11, Hanchko and Skriniar start for Belgium over those two center backs. Fine. But everywhere else on the pitch, we're not as good as them. So we need to come up with a game plan that it's risky, but it's our best bet
It
to
is.
get some sort of result because they clearly identified their weaknesses and they got their win today. And the thing is, Slovakia today, like they played really well the first half. It was the same kind of thing, but then Ukraine the second half just stepped up. So it's one of those where it's like, but that's coaching, man. That's how important this is. That's why the Southgate thing, for me, it's like this guy is clueless. Roberto Martinez, this guy is clueless. He's playing Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes,
Yeah.
one of the most exciting, electric left back, left wing backs in the world. You're playing him as a left center back and a back three. What the hell is wrong with you?
That was
What was wrong with
that
you?
was. I have Portugal to win it, but
I don't
I was
trust
expect.
Roberto Martinez.
No, I was expecting this approach. Okay. I wasn't expecting this type of like this extreme, but I was expecting not electric football from Portugal. I was expecting from England. I'm expecting the way they play. The way they play now, I expect them to play like that
Oh
under
yeah, yeah.
Southgate because he, again, he's trying to play. Hanina, I'm not sure who you're talking about, but he's a people pleaser. I need to play Rice. I need
Yeah.
to play Bellingham. I need to play
Bellingham
him. I need to
and
and
Foden.
yeah, but you need to play the players in the right position. That's just my opinion, you know. Because
Yes.
with Bellingham, I get it, but if he doesn't get a goal, it's watching like paint dry at times.
Yes.
Rice, I like him, but man, he takes 1,000 touches on the ball before he
And
makes
he's
a
not, and
decision. He can
they're not crisp. They're not crisp touches. Like he's a bit jaggedy. I don't even know how to describe it. He's not a smooth operator on the ball.
no.
He's physical. He challenges, intercept. That's great. But when you're chasing a game, it's not very helpful, is it?
No, he slows down play. Like he cannot play
Yeah.
between the lines. He cannot play that final ball, whatever. And it's
Yeah.
frustrating because you have players who like even if you play Harry Kane, if you play Harry Kane, you need people to because I think Harry Kane is better if he can drop in a little bit and you have people running off him, then he's dangerous because he's extremely good, when dropping in. But man, like, that was poor. Like, and the funny thing is, it's watching Allegri ball. You get 1-0 up, and then it's like let's chill. But when they go in chill mode, like Juve many times, they cannot get out of that chill mode. Even when they concede, they cannot flip it again. They're not that team, and that will
Yeah.
cost them. If you play against a team that plays with an insane time or a certain intensity, even France, or Spain or Germany, you're gonna lose that game because it will not give you a time to actually.
Switzerland could knock them out.
Uh,
England. There are a lot of team, bro. Ale, I'm telling you right now, Southgate is one of the worst coaches in this Euro. But he has one of the supposedly better squads available to him. Like,
yeah,
and let's not act like England haven't gone out at tournaments to like teams that are inferior. Like this, for me, they're round of 16 and they're done.
I'm
They're
not sure
done because he's going to keep on playing Trent in midfield when that doesn't work. He's going to continue to play Foden on the left when he's not a left winger. He's going to continue to play Bellingham in that 10 role, and he's going to continue to he's going to continue to use Trippier at left back instead of switching something up like the formation. Like there's so many problems with England. There's so many problems that even a half decent team that is a well-coached team, like even a Slovakia, that if they take their chance, then it's like, what chances are you gonna generate? I don't see England doing nothing in this tournament. Personally,
no, I don't have a feel like they have quality enough to cause some damage. They do. They have some good players. They have some very good players.
they
Like,
do.
not just
Yeah.
good players, but even the position of Trent, it's like just play.
He's a right back.
Yeah, like why?
It's the Kimmich dilemma, because Kimmich and Trent have both. Sorry to cut you off. Kimmich and Trent have both said, "I want to play as a midfielder." But then when they play as midfielders, everything needs to be perfect. When it's like, no, you guys are right backs. Whether you like it or not, that's your best position as a footballer
Yeah.
for those teams.
But that's what, like I said, like he's trying to do much. Like he needs to. If you keep
Yeah.
it simple, that team will play much better.
Oh yeah.
And they're horrible to watch, man. They are. Oh
Oh
my god,
my god.
that's because when you look at their squad, you're like, man, that's very interesting. But when you watch them play, you're like, what happened to the squad on paper? Basically, like, did I miss? Like, even Saka, like, poor, like extremely poor. Foden has no impact. Yeah, more touches than he did in the first game. But like, I can also imagine these players not being happy. I can imagine these players
yeah.
not being happy. Like Gordon not playing a single minute. Palmer not getting a sniff when you are trying to chase a game. But then I listened to Walker's post game comments, and it's like, yeah, Denmark are a good team. This is football. I'm like, yeah, Denmark are not. They're not no mugs. You know, they're a decent team. But
They're a decent team. Yeah.
when he said this is football, this happens. I'm like, this is happening for years. That's not football
Yeah.
anymore. That's just you. Like
Yeah.
that's who you are.
Yeah.
But like you said, or like somebody said, World Cup semi, Euro final, and they're like, that's good. I'm like, no, like it's about winning. Like this is not clock
Yeah.
football where you have 40 games. This is just 4 games, 5 games. Are you gonna win it? Yes or no? No, then you need to move on. You know, but hey, if they don't win, I'm all for it. I guess. Like,
Okay, Sam.
I think it's best for everybody if they don't win. To be honest.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they're not gonna win like that. They're not gonna win. Who? Which team surprised you the most so far that you were not expecting?
I put Switzerland top of my group before the tournament started, so I can't really say the Swiss. I'm disappointed in Hungary for sure. I thought they'd be decent. I didn't think they'd be on zero after the first 2 games. I think they'd at least get like a draw and a draw. Um, so maybe Hungary, but like a positive surprise. Probably. I mean, Romania were outstanding against Ukraine.
Yeah.
That was definitely. I mean, Dragusin, my word, that's one of the best center back performances we've seen this Euros. That guy. I don't know what the stats say about aerial duels and all this stuff, but like, can you think of a center back in the world that is as dominant in the air as Dragusin? It just feels like, and this is with Genoa too. It just felt like whenever the ball goes in the area, he is there and he's just like, get out. He
He had a good
barges
game.
through guys. He's great on the ball. Makes good decisions. He's a top quality center back, and he's still pretty young. So for me, like a Romania, definitely a surprise. Slovakia, I was talking about earlier, definitely. I had them finishing second though, in the group, which is still possible. And then in terms of a surprise, Slovenia, I picked them to do well. They had 2 draws. Most people thought they're just going to go 3 and out, no wins. So I'm not surprised really with them. Serbia always disappointed in major tournaments. So I'm
People are
Serbia.
hyping that Serbia team. I said it. You know, they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
They're not because they have some good pieces, but as a whole as a team, they're not good enough. And the way they're set up, you're not gonna do anything. Like
yeah.
it's just not gonna happen. You know, they play a very negative style of football. They do.
They lack. They have lots of physicality, decent technical players, but they lack pace. They lack pace a lot. Like they don't like Zivkovic a little bit. He's not like lightning quick though. And it's like Vlahovic, Mitrovic, Milinkovic, Savic, Tadic, Lukas Sasa Lukic. Like these guys are not, they lack pace. They can physically impose themselves like they did against England in that second half in particular. But they don't
Yeah.
have pace like that. And they're defensively not that good. I do like Pavlovic, the center back there. He's pretty decent, but like I'm trying to think who else surprised me. I mean, Austria, I picked them to get out of the group. I picked them to get first place. That's still possible. So if I had to pick a surprise then, I'd probably go with probably Albania, because they have been competitive in both the games. Again, people kind of thought that they were going to be a 3 and out team, that they'd lose all of them in like embarrassing fashion, but they've say what you want about their talent or whatever. They got a nice player here and there, some Serie A experience, and Slovenia coaching them. They battled hard. The problem with Albania, though, and this is what separates the good teams, the mediocre teams, and the very good ones, is learning from your mistakes. And for me, Albania, that's where they have really disappointed. Because you scored 26 seconds in versus Italy, but then 15 minutes later, you're down 2-1 off 2 self-inflicted mistakes. Like, that's pretty shit. That's pretty shitty. But I'd probably say, for me, the surprise so far is probably probably Albania, that they're kind of like coping with the group that they're in. They could, if they somehow beat Spain,
Nah, there's no
and
chance.
they could somehow still get out of the group. And I think that's also the other reason why I put them as my surprise package. They could still get out of the group as a third place or even a second place team somehow.
They
And
could.
nobody thought that was going to be the case.
Somebody,
So,
somebody said you're underestimating. They can like Spain are gonna rotate. Spain can rotate 11 players. They're gonna win against Albania. Like I know they showed a lot of passion and desire, whatever.
oh,
But
I don't expect them to win against Spain. I'm
they,
just saying it's very impressive that they're even that they put themselves in somewhat of a position to possibly qualify.
they like so much quality. Like they have absolutely.
I thought I thought they'd be eliminated by match day 2. They're
Okay.
not eliminated officially.
Yeah, but that's because everybody thought Croatia would be better than they are, basically. You know.
Yes, I picked them to win the tournament. So
Yeah, that's definitely not gonna happen.
probably not.
No,
Probably not. I
someone
don't know
said
who's your surprise.
my surprise, and I cannot say it because it's one game, but Georgia. I think like I thought they were getting just rolled over, but they lost against Turkey. They shouldn't have lost that game. We need to be honest. Like everybody was raving about
What a
Turkey's.
great game, by the way.
It was a good
My
game.
word.
It was a good game, but everybody was raving about Turkey. Oh, they're so good. I'm like, they're not. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it was an open game, and they just won it. You know, with a crazy Guller
Golazo
shot.
from Arda Güler.
Yeah, but yeah, they had chances, but so did the other team. Like clear cut, open chances. No, hit the
Yeah.
post, like whatever. They shouldn't have won that game. They did. It's credit to them, but like the back line from Turkey is one of the worst back lines in the tournament. Like,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
was
it's
that's
very
that's
suspect.
like if you get caught open by that opponent, then you're not a surprise team for me because a half decent opponent is just gonna put you away quickly. Like that's just
Yeah.
I cannot rave about that team, and they had a good game, by the way. It was a good game. It was an open game, but they're not a good
Very
team. Like they're not a good team. Like it's a lot of
You know what it is? There, and I've been following the Georgian national team for about a year and a half, 2 years. Because obviously, Kvaratskhelia, I just noticed a lot of Georgian players kind of like go into different leagues around Europe. You've got Kvaratskhelia, obviously, at Napoli. You've got Miquatetse, who was good at Metz, at Ajax. He was played out of position and was not very good there for different circumstances. So you've got Zirkzee at Watford, who had a good season. So you got like 23, 22, 20-year-olds. The left wing back for Georgia, Kocho Eshvili. I'm probably saying his name wrong. He was very good. He was very good. Like, they held their own. They really did hold their own, Georgia. I actually thought that they'd get second. I kind of had them as my
You
kind of
did?
dark horse. Yeah, I had them second. Because I'm like, yes, Kvara is their best player. But similar to Wales in 2016, you have that superstar player that everyone knows about, like Bale was for Wales. And then all the other players, besides one or two, are like mediocre ones in, random leagues. And Wales got to a semifinal. So, Georgia do definitely. They've got a really, really promising upcoming generation of players. They've always had talent. They have always had talented players over the years. It's just sometimes they never get to the top 5 leagues or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're an interesting team for the future, and this will be good for them for experience.
They are.
And they're bright. And you know what it is? They actually had a set of balls, and they were like, again, similar to Slovakia, risky strategy, very risky strategy. But they were like, we're just gonna go for it. We have nothing to lose. It's our first ever Euros. We're playing Turkey. They've got some very good offensive players. Yildiz, Güler, Baris Alper Yilmaz is pretty good as well. But like Turkey are very gettable, like you said. They're defensively, they've very shambolic. Turkey, very, very, very suspect.
That was not good. I'm sorry. That backline was poor. That was really
Oh,
poor.
yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, Turkey are definitely an interesting team, like going forward, or just entertainment wise, because they can't defend, but they love to attack. So that Portugal Turkey
Really,
game,
I have a completely different question because the Match was reporting that we're very interested in Turam from Nice, like big time, you know. And even if,
Kefran.
yeah,
Yeah,
if Rabiot goes, then it's basically all in. We're gonna try to get him. What do you think of him? Because he didn't have the best of seasons last season, but I don't watch Nice.
he started off strong, but then it just faded. Yeah, yeah.
Somebody like people said it's because of the coaching. Like it doesn't really suit him because the previous season it was much better. I,
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure. Like what do you make of him as a player?
I really like him. Like I said, Nice overall started the last season very strong through about like 10 games. They were in like a Liga title challenge, and then it just collapsed. It really, really did collapse. But for me, with Kefan Turam, he gets about the park. He's busy. He's a good tackler. He's a decent passer. Like he's someone you always have to take notice of because he'll either be pressing you or he'll be, getting physical with someone. He's a good player, man. I think he sometimes just needs to be a little bit more positionally aware. Um, and some of them he does take a little bit too long on the ball sometimes, but it's a talented player for sure. Definitely a
Eight,
talented player.
18 mil, 15 to 18 mil is reporting.
Low risk.
That's a very low risk because I remember last season, um, when Liverpool were in, it was Liverpool. He was rumored to go for like 40, basically, and
Yeah.
it didn't happen. So, again, he has 1 year left on his contract. So it kind of makes sense that he's going for that. Like it's Nice.
Yeah.
Like if that was a bigger club, they were still sitting there being like, yeah, give me 40.
35.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we still need that
Yeah.
money, but it's Nice. So that's basically
Yeah.
how it goes. But it's gonna be interesting for you as well because
What do you think about him?
I've not seen enough like to make. From what I've seen, I like him, but I've seen more the previous season. So maybe it's not even fair for me to say, oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. I just read a piece on like a scouting platform saying that he had some issues with the decisions of the new coach. You know, changes
Yes.
being made, and he kind of struggled towards the end. Um, but you said he started off good, so I'm like, okay, you started off good, then it went down south a little bit, so it cannot really be all on coaching, I guess. But he's still young as well, like he's still young. Um,
And you know how much talent Liga produces. It's crazy. You can
yeah,
find gems. You can find gems in the third division of French football. Like Leicester bought N'Golo Conte and Riyad Mahrez from lower level Liga, and I think they bought N'Golo Conte when Con got promoted from League Two the year before. So it's like you can find, and it didn't cost them a lot of money. So you could find a lot of talent on there. It's worth the risk. That's what it is. For 15 to 18 million, it's worth the risk. And I think it's a really, really talented player. So it's like you should do that.
it's
It's a
it's
low risk, high reward
it's a
thing.
very interesting move because that means even like because the March was saying even if Rabiot stays, it's him. That means Miretti is
God,
gone.
I
That
hate
means
that guy. Oh
McKennie.
my god.
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, that
I
means
hate that guy.
Miretti is gone. McKennie definitely is gone. I don't want to talk about McKennie here, but he definitely will be moved out.
Yeah.
That means that midfield is gonna be rebranded from top to bottom, which was
Yeah.
definitely needed. But the question
Oh yeah.
is are these the right pieces? But again, only time will tell. It's just
Definitely.
finally something is happening. I'm gonna say that because too long we just sit there and did absolutely nothing to that midfield, and it got us to this like where we need to change
Yeah.
so much in one season basically or in one summer.
Yeah.
Um, but like I've said so many times, full trust in the new coach to make it work. So we'll
Yeah.
see if he can make it work. Before we wrap this one up, quick prediction for the games to come. Definitely, obviously Italy against Croatia because people follow Juve. So Italy. What do you what do you what do you think?
So Zlatko Dalic over the years has not been shy about making like big changes. Like we've seen him sub off Modric before. We've seen him sub off um, Brozovic. We've seen him sub like he will take out players, whatever your name is. If it ain't working in the game, he will sub you out, and then the next game he'll make changes. So I think, and he because he did it the first game, or the second game versus Albania, he made I think 4 changes to the
Four
11.
or yeah,
So
four.
I
I think
expect
four.
him. I expect him to make again some changes again because he is a very he doesn't mess around with that kind of stuff. He doesn't screw around. So I feel like they might drop Brozovic for a Pasalic or something like that. Keep Modric and what's his name Kovacic in there. Maybe I think they should give maybe an Ivanovic a chance, the left winger from Feyenoord. Maybe bring him in, Kramaric, something like that. So I expect them to make some changes. I can't, and with you guys playing like that, um, I want to say a draw, but I feel like Croatia just got one last go at it, and I feel like they don't really have the pressure too either. Like you said, they have to win or they go home. They have to win. So I can't lie. I might go for like a 2-1 Croatia.
Uh,
Very competitive.
I can see that very easily happen that they will lose that game. Italy. I can see that. I can see that happening. I'm not gonna lie. And if they lose, they're out. They're not gonna be one of the best because the goal difference will be minus. The Belgian group all have 3 points basically. If Belgium win, it's gonna be too tough. Like they're out. But I'm gonna say 1-1. I'll think they will find a way to make it out of that group, and then whatever I guess. But we will see. We will see if we will.
Both teams have goalkeepers capable of stopping goals that other goalkeepers wouldn't have a chance of saving.
Yeah,
That's the
but
other thing
they
too.
don't have a team to score goals at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's or
So
create enough chance in
probably a
my
good
opinion.
prediction. Yeah.
We will see. We will talk about that next week, and then we will know actually who basically all team qualify. Poland are out officially, but we will know who will qualify for the next show. So we'll talk about that next week, I guess. Um, People, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Steve's channel, as always. We will be back next week, probably Friday as well. We're gonna do Fridays, I think, until I don't know the quarterfinals, and we'll see how we can switch it up.
Yeah.
But Steve, thanks for coming on. As always, pleasure.
You man.
And people, I will see you back live on Sunday for a call-in show. Ciao.